quick thing. So Darshan, कई बार आपने भी कहा है, and at one place the Buddha says, so somebody asks him, no, somebody says to him, well, I haven't heard you say this earlier. And he says, I also haven't heard it. And I remember with you also maybe twice such a thing has happened. So essentially your explanation was that it is that wo jo cheez aa rahi hai, that's not really, like, it's not been thought of. It's just coming as a result of the whatever existing situation.
It's, for example, with the Lumpur Sumedo, it happened, which आपको याद होगा, एक शीलधारा उनसे पूछने जा रही थी कि मैं घर जाती हूँ तो बड़ी दिक्कत होती है, माता पिता बहुत बुरी तरह से डांट खाती हूँ रोज, जाने का मन भी नहीं करता, लेकिन लगता है जाना भी चाहिए, पिताजी को मैं छोड़ के आई हूँ. And then he just says out of a blue that the kindest thing you can do for your parents is not to create them. What did he say? What does it mean not to create them? And then Ajahn Ambrose says that he himself was surprised later. Kya kaha maine? That teaching has come out from a state of emptiness, which is not seen as if I have spoken it, but somehow the truth has come out that this is a very important truth. Isn't it? I don't remember about Lord Buddha saying so, but about him I know that for sure.
Okay. Sorry, I must have mixed it up.
About him we know for sure because Ajahn Amaro actually mentioned that he himself seemed surprised. Oh, how did I really say this? And it happens with this many times with us. We end up saying something which you realize was quite interesting.
Yeah, because twice in our conversations it has happened, and then I kept asking you, why haven't you said this earlier or something like that?
I said, I don't know.
Right.
Just cropped up.
And sir, not to create them means यहाँ उनके बारे में कोई धारणा पहले से नहीं बनानी. That was the.
You take people as your parent. You have an assumption that you don't take them as human beings, just two human beings, and then because just the moment we create them, we have expectations. Okay, they should love me, respect me, this, that. If you don't, then you just see them. Unpleasant words as unpleasant words, not the unpleasant words of my dear father. That's it. It's a pretty powerful teaching, very powerful teaching.
ये तो धर साहब बहुत लोगों को दिक्कत होती है ना, in an affirmative way or in a negative way, both ways.
Yeah.
And so basically what I understand is that it's just a role being played. अगर उसको हम बहुत ज़्यादा seriously ना लें, I mean, उसको जितने seriously लेना है उतना seriously ले भी. So it's both ways.
It happens both ways. You see, it happens both ways. When you have to serve your parents, you have to remember they're your parents and serve them. That's your duty. Not that they are just two people around and, well, they're suffering karma and matter ends. You can always misunderstand teaching. Anatta teaching is such a dangerous thing. You can totally misunderstand it. Look at the things as they are. Accept the things as they are. And then don't do anything about it. That's a disaster. So one has to be really... तभी वो बार जो एंड में वर्ड आता है विन्यो ही पचतंग वेदी तब्बो विन्यो ही. If you're not very wise, then things will go otherwise. Then it will be all disaster.
अमृता जी जरूर इस पर कमेंट करेंगी. She was trying to speak, turn her mic on.
No, I think sir's already answered that. This jugglery between de-identifying yourself and your parents, seeing them as parents at one moment and seeing them just as people at another. So, yeah, my question's answered. Thanks.
इसमें हालांकि दरअसल जो हमने पहले डिस्कस किया, it's really a question of identifying one's own tendency, and if one has the tendency, for instance, of over-identification, then to go in the other direction, and if one has the tendency of mild neglect than to.
If you have a, I mean, it may sound very cruel, I don't know. Let me put it. So pardon me if it sounds cruel. If you have a tendency of or let me put it other way around.
कह दो दर्शन,
If
कह दो, जरूरी है कई बार सुनना.
if we develop the tendency of, if you have a genuine metta towards those, when we say जो प्रिय तो obvious आसान है, जो तटस्थ हैं और वैरी हैं उनके प्रति भी अगर हमारी मैत्री का भाव रहे, then we don't get obsessed. Otherwise, when the parent is behaving according to my views, I am available and helping and serving. When the parent is not behaving according to my views, then I remember suddenly the teaching of anatta and interpret it as everybody is suffering from his own karma, why should I bother? So we can easily go from obsessive to apathetic situation with respect to looking after parents or taking care of parents. When if I have a deep sense of lack, then it will be obsessive tendency. If I have a sense of general sense of metta, not affection, the difference between metta and affection creates a lot of problems. So when it is affection, then it becomes obsessive. When it is metta, then you can be kind to anybody and everybody. Why not? And I've seen the two extreme situations, A person not caring about the parent is one extreme. A person obsessing about the parent is another extreme. And being able to strike a balance is so difficult. But that's the practice. That one should be able to, if the parent is, for example, fine, he doesn't need service, but he's wanting you to behave according to what he or she wants. And then you get angry and then metta सब भूल जाता है. क्योंकि metta की practice हमारी affection के साथ जुड़ी हुई है. So if the practice of metta is with respect to तटस्थ और वैरी के साथ भी मैत्री का स्वभाव रहेगा, तो वो जो प्रॉब्लम रहती है कि you get upset because parents are not behaving well, parents are talking very roughly. People have that old sankharas and of that kind, talking roughly, talking in a strong words. तो फिर हम लोग परेशान हो जाते हैं. And then obviously harsh words would look unpleasant, but if you have the mindfulness to see it's unpleasant, but it doesn't change my responsibility, isn't it? So that's a balance which you keep on striking, going from one end to other end and so on. So when we say we don't create the parents, it essentially means that is especially important in those situations when the parents are criticizing me very much. It's extremely important there because then I can see those as I don't have an expectation of particular kind of form of speech. Then I can handle it properly. Then I can respond properly, appropriately to the situation. I remember in one talk, Lumpur mentions that he went to see his father and mother, and I think he must be 55 years of age or something. And his father, remembering him as a young boy, spoke to him in the same tone, in the same manner. But Lumpur, being a wise person, he understood that's okay. He said, yeah, but her, you're saying that will be done. No questions asked. I visualize that if my father had said me same thing, how would I have responded? It would have been pretty tough to respond in the manner in which he responded. That's the case of looking at not creating a father out of it. But when he was ill, he went there and served him. And nothing is. And we see that especially in the story about Ramdas, what was the relationship of the parent and son, and how it transformed when he became ill. His father used to always criticize him for what he has become, from Harvard professor to a Baba. But then slowly, the situation changed. And when he was ill, he served him like anything. He served him, and he was, you must be remembering Bhanteji. And when he talks, he says, we became like such good friends when he was at the terminal stage of his passing away. So those stories are really very inspiring for us to see how do we. But when he was looking after his father, it didn't mean that he was obsessing about him. He was serving him, but he was doing everything else. Everything else was being done. When father needed attention, he was available. When he didn't need attention, he was doing his sadhana, if I may use that word, in whichever way his sadhana was. So one has to really create a space for oneself also. One can't get into that situation of parent is old and then we obsess that what will happen if he passes away. It will happen. Someday it will happen, obviously. So it's a constant practice of equanimity, constant practice of gratitude. All those things have to be put together simultaneously. So always really quite a big balance. And we always go this way. It's not that so easy to and straightforward. We always sometimes go on this side, sometimes on that side. But if you are mindful, we go on this side, then we gently come here. We go this side, we gently come. So that's the importance of things. We've all faced situations of that kind. Parents have passed away and you may not have had the best of relationships with parents. Yet they have to be looked after. And in a manner in which we don't lose equanimity, especially in the terminal part, terminal stages of I remember my father, my mother's cases. It was quite tough, but then sometimes I had to force, sometimes I had to leave. Father was ill, he didn't want to go to hospital. He said, no, I don't want to go. I said, no, you have to go. So we'll take him. अच्छा ठीक है, got his chemotherapy done. अच्छा ठीक है, okay हो गया ना, शांत हो जाओ, ऑफिस जाओ. नहीं, but radiation करना है. And no, मुझे नहीं जाना. It's so hot, it's this. चलो. So sometimes you have to force, sometimes it's okay. What can you do? But then decisions had to be taken. Sometimes you commit mistakes, but then you take it back. So things can be tough. There's no doubt about it. In mother's case, we had to decide that she has not to be given medicine because the doctor said nothing can be done. Now it was very painful to see her, and then we thought, okay, some alternative medicine, and let her gently pass away. You have to take a decision that, now stop. So being elder son, I have to take a decision. All my siblings said, decide karo tum. That's a pretty tough thing to your very dear mother and you have to decide that now stop giving medicines. So that has to be done. Somebody has to do it. This person is suffering enormously. Giving medicines is suffering. Just virtually, trembling and getting thrown out of the bed. Obviously, the body is gone. The illness has completely destroyed the body. And doctors in the society used to come and say, the whole body is filled with ammonia, now stop. They had to stop. Painful decision, but has to be taken. So we have to really prepare ourselves for all that, isn't it? Anyway, thank you. I just thought maybe it will help.
Good, Musa, thank you. Topical.